right, so as you can tell, I kind of cleaned it up around the plant. I pulled out some paper whites that I had in here and gave the parsley a little more space. Both these are doing really well in here. And I wanted to show this. So all I did was clip off some of the plants from outside and took some of the leaves off like I do when I propagate some things. And I hate to do this, but it was loose. If you can tell, I hope you can see that on there. Hopefully that can focus, but there's actually some new roots forming. Oops, I just knocked that one off. But there's one right there. And if you look really close here, you can see it where it's actually forming. And these are sprouting new growth. So I know it lived. I'm just gonna put this back in there. Hopefully it survives. Don't do that. I just did that to show you what it looked like. I know eventually I'll have some more leaves growing off here because look, I have new growth on here, which is awesome. And that started happening when I put it under or close to the lights from that AeroGarden. So this is doing really well. The next thing I want to do is I'm gonna go ahead and I've got this basil plant. I'm going to take the dead stuff off that kind of fried a little toward the bottom because it wasn't getting any light. But I want to plant this into here with the parsley, the sage, and the... Actually, that's oregano. I think I called it thyme. I get those two confused. So I set this and I watered it next to the light situation just like this was, or the light conditions just like this unit was, and I've got new growth and it's doing really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pot it up in here. That way I don't have to worry so much about watering it because this gets dry quick. And this container is doing a great job with keeping the roots and everything watered. I've not had to water this. I spritzed it a little bit a few weeks ago, but that's about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plant this in here. You just have to really watch it and make sure the water levels up, which I need to add some water to this. So the first thing I'm going to do to this plant is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to prune this off just because. And actually, that's not cutting very well. Let me get my snips. Pruners, I keep them by my microgreens. They're perfect for that. So I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to snip it off right where there's new growth, just like you would do outside. The same thing here. We're just gonna snip that, boop. And I'm gonna actually put this in the fridge because I love basil. Lately I've been putting it on my eggs in the morning with some feta cheese and a little bit of tomato. It's so yummy. And I don't miss the bread, not having a piece of toast as much when I dress up the eggs like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that over there to use later. And I wanna get in here and just kind of clean this plant up a little bit. We'll see if I bet I will get new growth coming out of the bottom once I get this planted. But just like outside, you want to make sure you got all the dead leaves off and anything that looks, you know, like it's not doing so well. Because when you don't do that, it actually invites bad bugs in and aphids and things like that. So you don't want to create a situation for them. Not to mention, if you keep it cleaned up, it also encourages new growth on many plants, including herbs and like this basil. Okay, now this is where I'm going to use my hands just because it's winter and I miss digging outside. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make a little space here, pull some of this dirt off. I originally had a basil plant in here, but it died back because I had put this container out in my breezeway and I got really cold. Actually, here's part of it here. It was sprouting new growth on there. The original plant, it just got too cold out in my mudroom breezeway area. There's no heater in there, so it was getting nice sun in the morning, but things were just kind of holding on. They weren't producing until I brought it back inside and put it next to those awesome lights. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of squeeze your container to loosen it up. These herbs I actually bought at, I think I got these at Walmart over in the produce section. You can purchase live herbs and it's really fun to have, especially if you have a little setup like this. it works great, and anybody can do this. And I have had so much fun having fresh herbs without having to worry about getting to the store all the time or running out to my dome garden. I've got them right here at home. So there it is. Now, another thing that I did, I'm actually thinking about putting a couple little seeds in here of different herbs that I have just to see if they'll come up since I've got space here. But another thing that I did in this to kind of keep it moist, and plus I have this in my kitchen and I don't like looking at the soil. I actually took, and it just seems dirty to me, but I actually took some of the peat moss, or I took peat moss, and I just kind of put it around. It's working as a mulch, right? It also looks prettier than looking at the dirt, I think, just because, like I said, it's in the kitchen. And I don't have to worry about watering like this because I just put the water in here and it waters it from the bottom, because these root systems go all the way down now, which is nice. I'm not going to take this apart. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Just take my word for it. I'll show in another video. So I basically take this, they say peat moss. This is Spanish moss. And I get this at the craft store, or you can get it at your garden centers. It's over by the soils right now, like at Menards and Lowe's. It's over by, you know, where you get your soil and your perlite and all that. I'm just going to tuck this in here for now and think about putting some seeds in there. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Do you think something will sprout? There it is. It just looks so much better than looking at the dirt, and it's doing really well. I'm going to go ahead before I'm done with this today, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add more water to it, and I'll take you over and show you where this sits next to the lights. Okay, so here it is, all potted up on the water. I added water to this. As you can tell, I've got an Aero garden going back here. It's only been a couple of weeks, so I really don't have much growth on it yet. But actually, a friend of mine gave me this tip to put the Aero garden on top of a box. That way, the lid for the light can be at the right height for those new seedlings. And this plant is just loving what's going on here with the light. I just love the light. It's doing great. So there it is. I did want to share some exciting news with the Aero garden. I'm going to go ahead and lift the lamp back here. Oops, I reach around the camera. It's actually really easy to do. And right now, as you can tell, look, I've got some sage. The sage is just starting to come up, so I think it's about time, almost time to lift the little dome off. And I also have, where was it? There's more green. I think it was the basil. Yep, the basil has a little green. It's only been a couple of weeks, so hopefully in a couple more weeks I'll have more plants to show you. But in the meantime, I've got these awesome ones that you can find at your local grocery store this time of year. Thanks for checking out my video today. I hope you will stop over at my website located at brenhaas.com, where you'll find more creative living and growing ideas. Hope to see you there. Woo!